You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe, and worldwide at irlonestar.com.
Thanks for checking out this archived episode of the Ticket Stub. Connor here, one of the hosts of the show. I'm doing this while Dick is away. Guys, I know that y'all love the show, but I know that he is the worst part. I'm trying to find another co-host, so if any of y'all have any ideas, please let me know. But in the meantime, go ahead and subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube, all at the Ticket Stub Podcast. You can send us an email at theticketstubpodcast@gmail.com, or you can find us on Facebook at the Ticket Stub. And be sure to listen live every Thursday on irlonestar.com or FM 104.5 and 106.1 in the Conroe area. Thanks and enjoy the show.
Shall we begin?
All right.
Hey, everybody. I like to let it run for a minute, Dick, you know? I like to hear our beautiful intro music.
Okay.
Welcome, everybody, to the Ticket Stub. Connor and Dick here. We're all sorts of thrown off. Dick sat in my chair, and I'm feeling
Your
kind of...
chair.
Well, okay, fine. I guess it's your chair, but it's the chair that I usually like to occupy during this hour of my week, and so I'm a little bit backwards right now, so who knows what's going to happen on the Ticket Stub this week. We're excited to be here. God, I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, no.
I know.
We missed you last week. We had a good show.
You did have a good. I was kind of like getting jealous of Chris a little bit. Like, okay, y'all don't have that much fun. All right, this should be worse when I'm not there. I don't like it. I listened, and it was good stuff. If you didn't hear last week with Chris Appel, GM of the Grand Theater in Conroe, had a lot of great things to say. You got to talk a little about the Emoji Movie. Dick, and I saw a great picture of you.
Yeah, we'll be posting that for today's show.
Who are you? You were with a little celebrity. Who are you there with?
The Poop.
The Poop.
I was with the Poop.
Man, what's the Poop, man? You were hanging out they had him at the Grand.
Yeah, we can talk about it later. I'll talk about my experience because I lost the bet or lost the game, so I had to go see the Emoji Movie. And what's funny is I think that's the last movie I saw in the theater was Warcraft. I think that's how long it's been, and I was sitting there. I was like, I can't believe the one time I get back in here to watch the Emoji Movie.
Man, that is a true punishment. So what we're going to do today on the show, we're going to rewind some of the movies we've seen the last week. We have got a ticket giveaway.
That's right.
Boom!
Just from now on, leading into the coming weeks and stuff, we're going to be giving away 2 tickets to the Grand.
Every week.
So make sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on our podcast and stuff if you can't listen live at noon o'clock every Thursday to keep up with how to win, because we're going to change it up every week.
It's going to be a little different, but I think it's going to mostly operate through the Facebook feed, and it's not going to be live giveaways on the show that Thursday, but it's going to happen through the Facebook page the week in between the shows.
Yeah,
it's what we're mostly going to do.
Trying to keep you hooked.
Yeah, we're trying to give you a little taste and make you come back for more. So we're going to be announcing how you can win 2 free tickets to the Grand today a little later on. We're also going to be playing a game that we're calling it Plot Summary. We're going to see how this goes. We're always, new games always come with a little bit of a risk. Could it be the worst thing ever? Maybe. Could it be the best thing ever? I'm assuming so. So we're going to play Plot Summary, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that later on. But we're going to hop right into some things going on in the world of movies with some movie news. Dick, I read an article this week on Screen Rant. I don't know if you ever look at Screen Rant, but it's a pretty good website for kind of what's going on in the world of movies. And they are talking about a new study that shows Rotten Tomatoes is influencing moviegoers. What do you think?
Oh, I know we've talked about that's it. I mean, it's the pivot thing for people to talk about movies. So usually it comes up, every movie that comes out, what did it get on Rotten Tomatoes? Yeah,
I mean, it's crazy how prevalent it is. Part of my job when I'm not, co-hosting the best movie-related radio show in the world is I spend a lot of time with teenagers, and in the last year, they've started talking about Rotten Tomatoes all the time.
And the reason you spend a lot of time with teenagers is...
It's because I'm a creep. No, because I work at...
Just making sure.
Yeah. No, I work with teens at a church, but they talk about Rotten Tomatoes scores all the time, and I feel like that's a huge shift, because I bet this time last year, they wouldn't have hardly even known what that was, but now they're starting to quote scores. I mean, it's prevalent everywhere, and so what the article says is that 7 out of 10 people are less likely to see a movie if it's ranked 0 to 25 on Rotten Tomatoes.
But see, I think it works reverse sometimes. For example, the Emoji Movie, that was a known thing for the first 4 days. It got 0%. And so people were going to go see that movie just because they wanted to know what a 0% was on Rotten Tomatoes.
You're right. In fact, yesterday I was having a conversation with someone that was talking about going to the Emoji Movie on Saturday because they wanted to see how awful it was.
Exactly.
So it probably does a little bit of that. My guess is more often than not, it's probably hurt. Like there's probably less of those people than there are the people who are like, oh, well, maybe I was going to. But I don't know how many times I've found myself when a movie's about to come out being like, oh, it's like 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. Maybe I won't go see it.
Well, I can see that really deciding a group of people wanting to go because it's all they use it as an art. Like I said, it's a pivot. It's like what did it get on the score? So I'm not seeing that movie because this other one got higher. So I'm gonna go see this other one.
So if you're arguing with somebody about like what are you gonna go see, maybe you say, well, this one was bad. An example of this effect they were talking about in this article was King Arthur, the movie that came out this last year.
Or Will Smith in general.
but Charlie Hunnam was in this King Arthur movie with Jude Law, and it was
Guy Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie directed. It seemed like it had a lot of momentum behind it. Got a really bad score on Rotten Tomatoes, and people didn't really show up.
I mean, same thing's happening with The Dark Tower right now.
Exactly.
So
yeah, I wasn't really excited about that to begin with, but my buddy I was talking to really was. And then I saw the Rotten Tomatoes score come out, and I kind of felt vindicated. Like, yeah, I knew that wasn't going to be good.
Well, what's interesting, it made me think about this year in film and like releasing film. There's been a lot of interpretation or adaptations, basically. And a rule of the wise, word of the wise, to those who are making these adaptations, don't go away from the source material. Don't add things. Don't change things. There's a reason why these things are popular. So if you're making Ghost in the Shell, don't change the imagery that much.
And especially, like, I don't know that many people are familiar with a lot of these source material items anyways. Like Ghost in the Shell, I don't really know that. So, like, just make it what it is.
But what's going to happen, though, is someone gets the word, oh, it's coming out as a movie, and it has Scarlett Johansson, I'm going to go see the source material. I'm going to read the comic book, or I'm going to see the anime. And when they see the movie, it's not the same. And, I mean, that kind of gives you why there's a connection with those movies. I mean, Lord of the Rings, that's what I think it did. It did all right compared to...
It stuck with the source.
Stuck with the source. They changed some things, but it was so light, it wasn't as drastic as, say, The Hobbit. And that's why a lot of people didn't like The Hobbit, because they changed so much. They added a whole character.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, that is a ballsy move to add a completely out of the book character and put it into the movie.
Yeah, and it's hard to make that transfer, but when they just totally throw the plot away, it seems like it hasn't been real successful right up to this point. But one of the things Emoji Movie tried to do, and they failed, was they tried to combat this by not letting professional critics really screen this a whole lot in advance.
They should have just owned it and just like watch our bad movie. And what we'll do is the next. When do you want to start talking about the Emoji Movie? Because I did see it.
Well, I think you had a couple things to say as far as some things in movie news.
Yeah,
let's hit that, and we'll come back to Emoji Movie.
Yeah, so some of the bigger news, some sad, some great. Start with the sad news. Actor Sam Shepard passed away. I encourage everyone to check him out. He has been inside the. He's more renowned for a screenplay writer. He wrote a bunch of plays, stage plays. He's a great stage actor. There's actually a really great documentary about Sam Shepard and his best friend. And they talk about basically they've been best friends. This is a real documentary who Sam Shepard is and his buddy for like 30 years, and they're completely different. 40 years probably. I'm gonna look that up. I saw that. I really wish I knew.
I feel like I've seen like 10 movies where Sam Shepard was like the general or like the commander. You know?
He was. Yeah, he's in a bunch of. He's a side actor, not a side actor. He's a supporting actor, and he's a bunch of movies. Check it out. I mean, it's kind of cool to see what he's been in.
I didn't know that he had died. And that's it's one of those things where it's like I don't think about him very often, but then when you hear that he's passed away, it's like, oh man.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh, that sucks.
I know, big bummer.
So,
well, he's in some great movies. He plays some great roles. I don't know much about his stage acting career or his screenplay writing, but as far as what I know him in, movies like Black Hawk Down, he was in Swordfish, a couple things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I always liked him. So
yeah. So other news,
R.I.P.
really.
Rip Sam.
The other news, good news, is Super Troopers 2 finished post-production. So they're done filming.
So it's happening.
And they're basically done. Like, they're done editing and all that kind of stuff. So they're probably trying to set up their Kickstarter stuff out now. Because I know Kickstarter gave them a bunch of... If you don't know what Super Troopers is, it's a comedy. It was very indie... I guess it's underground successfulness. It wasn't really good in the theaters. But so many people loved it. They did a crowdfunding for the second one. And it made a lot of money. Like, I think it made like $50+ million. Did it for crowdfunding? I'm going to look that up.
Yeah,
but basically,
I didn't even know they
movie.
were crowdfunding it until you told me that 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, that's how they made their money. But yeah, so they finally finished it. So I'm really excited to see it. Excited to see Farva
Farva, come on back, baby. I need you in my life.
So
he's probably looking good, isn't he? He's probably in shape. So let me tell you this story. I was in college. I was trying to kind of go out with this girl a little bit, and we watched Super Troopers together. And she never laughed once and fell asleep like halfway through it.
Oof.
And I kind of was thinking in the back of my mind, like, there's no way this is going to work. There's no way this is going to work out. And in fact, it did not. So I feel like that's what you call a tell, if you're with someone who can't appreciate a little bit of some great comedy. I'm excited about Super Troopers 2, though, because the first one was one of those, it's like the perfect college movie for a young 19-year-old guy to discover. And so we'll see where they go. A lot of times these sequels where they've taken like 10 or 15 years off haven't been real successful, i.e. maybe like Zoolander, things like that. But hopefully these guys are pretty funny, and they've had a lot of time to come up with something. So hopefully the jokes land, and they don't just recycle everything they've already done in the first one. Yeah,
so I'm reading it online. They made $4.4 million in 30 days, which is like a record for raising money. Another thing, too, they released another one. This is kind of interesting to show how the movie industry is now going. They opened up another one, and it was just for a scene, for a car chase scene. They raised money just for a scene. So it gives you an idea of the flexibility these online crowdfunding gives these creators, especially when they want to do something like a cool chase scene.
Yeah, and what's great is then it releases them from the constrictions of the studio, where now instead of people telling you like exactly what you have to do and kind of watering down your original vision, if you just raise the money yourself, then you can just do exactly what you want to do. Mm-hmm. And I think we're finding that's really great with a lot of these like Netflix and Amazon type shows. They're not micromanaging these people. They're saying, hey, we like you as a talent. Here's millions of dollars. Go make whatever you'd like to make. And the products you're getting back is really quality.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot better than an Emoji Movie. So there's that.
How dare you?
Well, when we come back from this break, we're going to go into the Emoji Movie, talk about T.J. Miller and his statements. Well, I love him owning up to how great this movie is.
Oh, gosh.
So we're listening to Ticket Stub with Connor and I, and we'll be back. And don't forget to like us on Facebook and stay tuned to learn how to win those 2 tickets to the Grand.
Remember to download the Lone Star Community Radio app from your Google Play Apple Store. Bring Montgomery County's community radio with you anywhere with your smartphone or tablet. If you are in the Conroe area, tune in on FM 104.5, 106.1. If you are on your computer, bookmark irlonestar.com as your internet radio station. Lone Star Community Radio broadcasting 24/7 from the heart of downtown Conroe, Texas.
Shall we begin?
And we're back on the Ticket Stub. We are going to rewind some of the movies that we've seen in the last week, or for me,
welcome back.
Last 2 weeks.
Yeah, you've been gone, man. I'm glad you're back. And you'll be back for good now?
Yeah, I'll be back for good. We may have to figure one thing out in August. I may be going to Vegas for a couple days. But I think we'll talk off air. But I think maybe I could call in.
Events are always taking place in Las Vegas.
Yeah, a lot of church events in Vegas. This is a outreach type activity.
Before we get into what we watched, I want to remind folks that we're saying that we have a Facebook, and also if you have questions, you can email us at the ticketstubpodcast@gmail.com. One thing we're looking for is input from you guys. So let us know if we suck, and to let us know if you like us. Just like us on Facebook. How about that? You don't have to go out of your way to let us know how cool we are.
Please speak gentle though, because I'm delicate.
Yeah, well, get over it. All right. So movies we've seen. You've had 2 weeks. I've had an interesting week in watching movies. I saw the Emoji Movie, and then I finally got to see What We Do in the Shadows, which is great. And then I got to see those things.
All right.
Well, how about you? You want to go first?
Man, we've been just dangling Emoji Movie. Let's just hop in. Let's hop in.
All right. So folks, the Emoji Movie has been talk of the town for how crappy it's been. I will assure you that if you have kids that are under 5, they're going to probably like it. You're going to be bored out of your mind while watching it. So the way I would tell people is wait till it's on home video. It's going to be one of those movies you just put on and let the kids enjoy, and you go
do the dishes or something.
The movie itself, the plot was standard plot of any kids movie. The guy doesn't feel accepted, and
is the poop the main character?
No, the poop is a total. Everyone's a side character besides the meh. And I didn't even know there was a meh emoticon.
What's his name? Like M-E-H?
M-E-H.
Meh?
And he can't meh.
What does that mean?
Like he can't make the face. Because the whole premise is the phones are real. There's a universe in your phone. and your text app, basically every emoticon is a living thing in this world.
Okay.
And when you go to your phone to push their thing in, they have to be there, and they scan them each time. And it didn't really make a lot of sense, but they scan them. So
how is this getting bad reviews?
Everyone has to perform their cause, and ironically, at the same time, they can't get rid of the face. So all the mehs are mehs, and they talk like a meh.
Can phone universes interact? Like, can my phone people talk to your phone people?
That's one thing I don't like about these kind of movies, because they do this great world building, but then they just don't go all in. So, for example, I don't know if there were ads or if it was part of the storyline. So they name dropped a bunch of apps, like legit apps you can buy. Like there was a whole sequence about Dance Now or Just Dance Now, and it seemed like an entire ad for 20 minutes because they're in the app trying to dance. And I was like, man, and they kept repeating what it was, and then they're trying to get the Dropbox. The whole movie, they're trying to get.
Do you want to go to Just Dance Now? I don't know about Just Dance Now. What do you think about Just Dance Now?
No, exactly. And like the whole movie, they're trying to get to Dropbox because they're trying to get out of the phone. Because when they get out of the phone, they can fix them because he can't make the Meh face. Meh. Yeah. And then they went to.
Is there like a human in this at all? Like, is there a kid?
Alex is the main kid, but he likes a girl, and that's it. Like,
so he's trying to send her some.
And
Meh
the phone's
faces?
Malfunctioning, so because they're going around the whole phone. So the whole arc of the movie. They got so much time because he's going into the technician to erase the phone because the kid's not smart enough to erase his own phone. I mean, amateur. But,
do they jailbreak it at some point?
Oh, no, that's the main character's name. They're looking for Jailbreak.
Are you kidding me?
No, because they think Jailbreak can fix the Meh guy. And overall, the movie, 90% was jokes. And that's what kind of sucks, because there wasn't really a lot of plot development, because every joke was coming around every corner. And every opportunity there was a joke, they took it. It's almost like what we talked about before in like those animated movies about dogs, like the Secret Lives of Pets. It's like they had a little round table. Everyone write jokes about these emoticons.
Then we'll just throw them in there.
And then we're going to fit as many as we can into this. Like, there was probably about 6 poop jokes in it. And then there's probably about 20 hand jokes because his side character's the hand.
Oh, yeah.
And so they had that. And so that kept coming up. And then the meh stuff kept coming up because they speak in the monotone because they're meh.
Oh.
So, like, the parents speak like that the whole time. And it was like an ongoing joke. So
sounds hilarious.
It was actually, this movie for adults, I give it the taxing. It's a taxing movie. It's taxing to watch. And actually, there one thing. If I hope Chris is listening, I have to ask him some questions.
Okay.
Because that was the longest preview session I've ever been in, ever.
You said it was like 30 minutes of previews.
It seemed like it was 30 minutes of previews because they also did a short animated film, which is cool if you're into that stuff. But it's more of like, man, I've been in this theater. I finished all my popcorn and drank my drink, and then the movie finally started.
So you were in the movie for like over 2 hours.
Yeah, it felt like that. I should have timed it because at one point it was getting ridiculous because it showed every animated movie coming out in the next year and a half.
Oh gosh.
Trailer for.
Oh my god.
And now trailers are now averaging like 3.5 minutes. So.
Well, I have no desire. I'm glad I wasn't there to play the game because I probably would have lost, and then I'd have.
Oh no, it's actually we're gonna reserve this movie again for you if you lose.
Oh, is this gonna be a future
punishment?
Like so we can revisit this terrible movie.
My review of it is taxing for adults. If you have kids under 5, they're gonna love it. They're gonna see all the things they do on phone. That's one thing that's kind of funny about the movies. It makes fun of the phone culture, but then it like absorbs it into the sense of like buy this app.
Yeah.
Go to Dropbox. Listen to Spotify. Like they go into the Spotify app.
But like what kid is Dropboxing though? It's like a weird thing to go like. Why not use like Snapchat or something? You know, like why would you not use one that kids might actually use?
Well, they even have that line in the movie where Alex has a jailbreak. It has the programs on his phone, but he hides it from his mom. And it's like, what kid would want to hide something? That was the joke. And of course, every kid wants to hide something. So basically, don't get phones for your kids.
Yeah,
that's what I got.
Yeah, that's probably true.
And if you erase your phone, you're killing like millions and millions of little.
You're committing emoji genocide.
Yeah.
If you erase your phone, you're responsible for the death of millions of emojis.
That's great. But we
should start with those ASPCA commercials where it's like, adopt now.
Yeah, don't restart.
Okay.
But outside that, I saw What We Do in the Shadows, 2014 New Zealand movie. It's documentary style.
Okay, I wanted to see this, but I didn't.
So I would encourage everyone to go see it. It's hilarious. It's a funny take on the fantasy world of vampires and werewolves, and it's
starring the Flight of the Conchords guy, right?
Yes, I believe he actually also wrote it too, and Jermaine Clement, and also Taki Watiti. I can't pronounce his name. I apologize, but he was in a bunch of New Zealand-based films, and he's also going to be in Thor. So his acting career is going up and up because he's a good actor. Actually, everyone in that movie did really well. It was very funny. The only thing I can't get over, though, it's almost like a gimmick now to do the documentary style filmmaking. So it's like The Office. Think of The Office, the TV show, and this is like they're interviewing and following these vampires around.
Well, I feel like Christopher Guest was really kind of a pioneer with a lot of those, like Best in Show and Breaking Wind or whatever that one was called. Where the
comedy flows that way, and it's delivered in that pace. And which, I mean, it didn't hurt the movie because it was just very interesting, just because the vampire stuff is pretty hilarious.
Well, I'm gonna definitely have to check it out.
You definitely need to check it out, folks. It's on Amazon Prime right now. It's free if you have Amazon Prime. If it's worth the rental, definitely. I think if you're looking in the mood to have a good, easy movie to watch and it's funny, it's a top choice there.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I've got 2 to talk about as well. The first, in theaters now, Dunkirk. Have you not seen Dunkirk yet?
No, I saw the Emoji Movie.
Gosh, that just doesn't even compute in my mind that you could see Emoji and not Dunkirk. I know it was a punishment, but come on, man. 2017, PG-13, hour 46-minute Dunkirk, directed by Christopher Nolan. If you don't know him, then you don't know much about movies because
That's unfair. He's only been around for like 10 years.
Well, if you don't know him, then you're not keeping up. How about that? Then you're an old person sitting in your rocking chair talking about how great Citizen Kane is. Christopher Nolan is awesome. Makes great movies. Starring Tom Hardy, Mark Rylance, Harry Styles from One Direction is in this. You're excited about that, I'm sure. Do you know who One Direction is?
No, I know who One Direction is, but I don't know who Harry Styles is.
Yeah, I think he's on his own now doing his own pop music thing, but anyways, I think they put him in here for a gimmick. The plot on IMDb, with the short plot, Allied soldiers from Belgium and the British Empire and France are surrounded by the German army and evacuated during a fierce battle in World War II. Basically, they're all trapped on this beach, and they're trying to get off, and every way they try to get off the beach, the Germans, kill them. Like, if they go on a ship, they get bombed. If they try to go somewhere else, they get shot at. I saw it in 70mm IMAX down on I-10. This was relentless. This movie was did you see Mad Max, Fury Road?
Yeah.
Did you see it in theaters?
Yeah.
Okay, the feeling that I got watching that, this was the only thing I could tie it to. It was like that, but even more. Because when I watched Mad Max in theaters, the whole time I feel like my heart rate was faster than normal.
Yeah.
And, literally on the edge of the seat kind of a movie. And they say that, but this literally was. And Dunkirk was the same way. And I saw it in IMAX, and the sound, it was so loud. I feel like the gunshots were louder than the sound of real gunshots. It would happen. They'd be quiet and sitting in sitting in this little place, or on the beach or in a boat, and all of a sudden you'd hear a bullet fly through the hole, and it would be loud. It startled me honestly several times with how loud it was. Hans Zimmer did the score, and he did the soundtrack, and the whole movie, they have the sound of this ticking stopwatch going on in the background. It's just behind almost the entire movie, which I feel like just makes it that much more intense. And every time something went right, then it went terribly wrong. Every single time. At some point you're like, come on, man. Just let some of these people get off this beach. No, I didn't know a whole lot about this whole Dunkirk story, if I'm being honest. And I've heard people say that they did, and I just really didn't. But so I learned something about it. But I've heard people complain that there wasn't a huge plot to the movie, or that it was kind of there's some the timeline is kind of distorted. There's a little bit of going back in time, and it's not real clear. But I really liked this movie a whole lot. I would say I love this movie. It was experimental in some ways. It did some kind of weird things, took some chances, which I think for me, even if the plot is a little bit maybe weaker in some areas, the fact that a filmmaker is taking chances in 2017 and not just doing the same thing, I love that, because every movie is a comic book movie. Every movie is just formula. You're talking about Emoji Movie. Earlier you told me it went from plot 1 to plot 2 to plot 3 to plot 4 and then finally resolution. This was different. This didn't really have that. And I really liked it. I need to rewatch it. But this is definitely in my top 3 to 5 Christopher Nolan movies at this point.
Is it rewatchable?
I don't know. That's what I'm not sure of yet. I'm not sure if it's rewatchable.
That's one thing. When I saw the trailers, it's it's one of those one-time views for me, and then I can appreciate it.
I'm not sure if it's rewatchable. I want to rewatch it to find out, but I'm not sure. But I will tell you, don't let this get out of the theaters without seeing it, because this is one that you have to see. Emoji Movie, Redbox it. Valerian, probably just skip it.
No, Emoji Movie, do not Redbox. Don't even watch it.
Don't even watch it? Okay, well, just ignore.
If you have a 5-year-old, there's so many more options that are quality animated movies to watch.
Yeah.
besides that one. I realized that because I watched trailers for about 12 of them that are coming out. So
you're very up to date on the kids movie scene right now. But Dunkirk, watch that in theaters because it is an experience. It is intense. I left feeling like I needed to just go to sleep because I was just exhausted. Like, it was emotionally exhausting to see this movie, but man, it was good. So Dunkirk, go see it. The other one I saw is on Netflix streaming. It's a documentary called The Barkley Marathons. Have you heard about this, Dick, or have you seen this?
Yep.
You've watched it?
I've watched it.
Okay. Well, see, it was one of those ones on Netflix that kept popping up. Like,
yeah.
Netflix really pushes certain things, and this kept popping up and popping up and popping up. And finally, I didn't really have anything to watch one night, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to check out the Barkley Marathons. It's a documentary from 2014, directorial debut for the people you've never heard of. Basically what it is about 25 years ago, they started this race in Tennessee where it kind of mimics this prison escape, and it's a 100-mile race that these people go on every year. And they only invite like 40 people a year to try to run it, even though hundreds.
You had to be invited.
Yeah, you had to be invited. Right. Hundreds and hundreds of people. It was supposed to be like a secret, like underground race, and you weren't supposed to talk about it. But like thousands of people apply every year, and he whittles it down to 40 that get to go. The creator of it is this kind of weird guy named Gary Cantrell, and he's an old runner, and he's run his whole life. In a weird way, he is kind of a visionary, though, because he came up with this race, and like it's captured the minds of all these supreme athletes. It's 100 miles. It gains 54,000 feet of accumulated vertical gain over the course of the 100 miles. It's 5 20-mile loops. And it's crazy because the first 2 20-mile loops you run the same way, and then the second 2 20-mile loops you run backwards, and then the fifth 20-mile loop, like if people make it that far, you alternate running it forward, backward, and and like no one finishes it.
Well, because what's one thing you're missing too is what's interesting about this race is it's not like you're running in a circle. You're not really running in a circle. You actually have to navigate.
Yeah,
the
it's
circle.
Like traversing.
So they have to what they do is they set up books for checkpoints. That's like so every checkpoint has a book.
I thought this was like the coolest part.
And what they do, how they track, and they know. Cause, I mean, this is an underground race. They don't have checkers. They don't have EMT people waiting. It's like literally you're going out in the woods. The way you find your way is here's a map. You get to look at a map for X amount of minutes, and then you figure it out. And if you find the landmark, then there's a book there, and you take the page that page number you've been assigned. So people are just ripping out the pages because they've been assigned page 91. And so every book has page 91 taken from it. They know where you've gone.
So there's like 10 books around the 20-mile loop.
Yeah.
So on that lap, it's like, okay, you're page 46. On this lap, now you're page 100.
Yeah.
And you keep going. And people will get lost.
Oh, yeah.
And you have like 60 hours to finish the 100-mile race. People will get lost and wander back after like 24 hours and just be like, yeah, I didn't finish it.
Well, what's interesting about the movie, and the people who it attracts those folks who like do Mount Everest or who are endurance runners who do the 100-mile. Plus, it's a lot of hiking, so you're just not running in a loop. So all the get up that people are wearing is not your standard running gear. One thing I found interesting was the families that would go with these guys. So imagine being a wife or a husband, and your significant other decides, hey, this is what I want to do. So they take the whole family. And basically, the family just waits on the campgrounds and this one woman was dedicated. She had everything ready for it. It's like they massage them
and then feed them soup.
Because like they literally try to sleep as little as possible because they can keep going. And
I think the one guy in 27 years, there's been 18 finishes by 15 people. So 3 people have repeat finished.
Yeah.
And
why would you want to do that again?
And a lot of years, no one finishes all 5 loops. Yeah. If you make 3 loops, they call it a fun run. And that's like a life goal for a lot of people is to complete a fun run. But if you do all 5 loops, but in the 60 hours that it may take you to do it, I think the one guy who finished in the documentary slept like 6 hours out of the 60 or something like that.
Well, one thing to take away from that movie, too, is you get to see the world of running.
Yeah.
Because all these folks know each other. And they all compete.
They're like supreme athletes.
Yeah, and they all compete. They all talk trash. They all talk encouragement. And they're all involved. And so you can actually go online. If you go to the Berkeley website, they post all the runnings. They post who finished, what the times were, and like this is a competition among those super athlete people who are highly competitive.
And what I love, and we'll go to break and we'll close with this, but what I love about the Barkley Marathons is that this whole thing, it's this race. It isn't flashy. It isn't really well known in a lot of ways.
People are dying.
But this is like the biggest accomplishment for these runners who've done all these 100-mile races. This is the thing that they hold the most dear is the fact that they've done this crazy race by this weird guy in Tennessee that's 100 miles.
And isn't the entrance fee a flannel shirt and a license plate?
It's a white dress shirt that the guy wears. The guy who owns it just collects them to wear, and a license plate and $1.60 is how you get in. So, anyways, the Barkley Marathons. Watch it. If you like documentaries, watch this on Netflix. Super cool. We're going to go to break. When we come back, we're going to play Plot Summary and talk about how to give away our 2 tickets to the Grand here on the Ticket Stub.
Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show with monthly and weekly slots available on Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1 and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776.
Shall we begin?
Back here on the Ticket Stub, we are about to hop into a game that we have invented this week called Plot Summary. But before we do that, we want to let you know about some of the things we're going to be watching in the following week and also something coming up towards the end of the month.
Yeah.
So this next week, a movie Dick and I were talking about earlier, he just told me it's new to Netflix, one that I've been wanting to see.
Yeah.
The Founder.
The Founder, yeah.
Are you going to watch that this week too?
I can. They also added Cloud Atlas, and I always wanted to check that movie out.
Okay, well, I've seen Cloud Atlas, so you watch that. I'll watch The Founder.
Okay, well, I've never seen The Founder, so how... What?
Okay, well, maybe you watch both then.
All right. And then, okay. All right. There you go.
All right, there we go. And I'm also going to try to see, I'd like to see Atomic Blonde, too. It's in theaters right now.
Yeah, I heard average things about it. Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
The one thing I'm definitely going to check out, I got recommended this documentary called Deep Water, and it was very interesting. It's about this global race, the first person to sail the world, basically. That's when it all started. And it's about this one character who had like almost zero experience sailing. For some crazy reason, he wanted to do it, and he died. So I already know that going in.
Okay,
but it's
well,
basically documenting the race, and then how like it's just gonna be interesting to see why someone would do this, because it was like an actual race. He like was trying to win the money to get it,
and he died.
And then he died somewhere at sea. No one really knows.
Oh.
No one really knows. Like, he could have killed himself, or because they're alone. And this is in the '60s, so technology-wise, there really wasn't much.
Like that movie All Is Lost. You ever see that? Depressing and lonely. It's where Robert Redford gets stuck on the boat by himself.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, okay. So we're gonna watch those movies. Also, we're gonna do at the end of the month. August 31st is a Thursday. On that show, we're gonna start doing Bad Movie of the Month. This kind of comes out of Theodore Rex. Kind of comes out of You Before You. But every month we're gonna do something like that where we review what's really just a bad movie, because it's kind of fun. I like to mostly talk about good movies, but it's kind of fun to talk about bad movies. So there's a movie that came out last year called Gods of Egypt, and I saw it in theaters. I'm gonna have to rewatch it.
I can't believe you went to saw it in theaters.
Well, that was before Rotten Tomatoes influenced me on what I should go see and shouldn't see. But it was rough, is what I remember. But we're gonna watch it together, and audience, we want you guys to watch Gods of Egypt between now and August 31st, and whoever posts the best movie review of Gods of Egypt to the Facebook page is going to win that week's 2 free Grand tickets. So August 31st tickets will go to whoever, and we'll keep announcing that so you know. But you have a month, okay? If you can't watch Gods of Egypt in the next month, you don't deserve the tickets, all right? So you have the month to watch it, and we'll give the tickets away based on the best review, and we'll also spend some of that show talking about what is an all-time instant classic, Gods of Egypt.
Gods of Egypt. You can get it on Amazon Video. I think you can rent it too. But you can also watch it for free on Cinemax.
There we go.
So if you have a Cinemax subscription on Amazon or Cinemax at home, you can watch it for free. But you can also buy it for $15 if you really want to do that.
Please do. Please buy it for $15. Okay, so we're going to play Plot Summary. Now, this game, basically what we're going to do is we've come up with scenarios for the other person. All right, and we're going to give them to the other person. We're going to give them a movie title, an actor, and a location. Now, we've just made these up out of thin air. And the other person is going to have to try to come up with a plot for the movie and what it's going to be about.
I'm going to have to write this down. So
Okay. No, my suggestions for Dick, I left them a little bit simplistic. I'm hoping he's going to go.
I didn't even read them, so.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad I gave them to you ahead of time so you could prepare, right? Yeah, I gave it some. They're a little simplistic, a little basic, hoping that he takes them in some crazy
So let me
direction.
get this straight. You're going to give me an actor, a location, and what else?
And the name.
And the name of the movie. And then I come up with...
And you just flesh it, like give us like walk us through what it's going to be about. It doesn't have to be every detail.
So can we give us the names, and then next episode we come up with actual thought out movie, or do you just want me to?
I just want you to riff. Yeah.
Right.
Otherwise, what are we going to do for the next 15 minutes if we just give you the names right now?
Well, he's talking about the emoji. No, I was kidding. Yeah, sure, go for it.
I mean, do you feel like you? I mean,
No,
like,
I'm cool with it.
Okay.
I'm more worried about you.
Oh, well, how dare you?
You have a reputation, so you gotta.
What does that mean? Okay, so what we're going to do also is to win the tickets for the Grand this week. Go on the Facebook page, pick one of the movies that we're making up here.
Yeah.
And on the Facebook page, you have to post your own plot summary based on that movie. So we'll start a post here at the end of the episode, and you can comment there with your plot summary that you're going to come up with for your movie. And the one we like the most is going to win the 2 tickets to the Grand, and we'll announce it next week on the show. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Dick, you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
You go first.
So I give it to you first.
Yeah, you give it to me first.
Okay. Okay, so scenario number 1. We're going to see how this goes. I'm hoping it goes well. Scenario 1, movie title, The Hollow Victory. Starring Michael B. Jordan, located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay. So what I would do is Michael B. Jordan is going to be a gangster in Philly.
Okay.
And he's
That's racist,
the
by the way.
whole movie is him trying to be the main leader of the gang.
Okay.
And when he finally becomes the main leader of the gang, he realizes that the gang life is not for him. So the hollowed victory.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So think of American History X, but for gangsters.
That kind of was for gangsters, wasn't it? American History X?
Oh, they were gangsters. Were they?
But they were
No, they were
Nazis.
terrorists.
They were neo-Nazis.
Well, they were terrorists.
That's the same thing. Nazis
Okay.
and terrorists, pretty much the same thing.
Okay. Well, that's my movie.
Okay.
I think actually that is a solid B movie right there.
That actually, you know what? That actually doesn't sound that bad.
There you go.
When I was writing these, I was kind of making up my own movies in my mind. I was thinking that he would be, this is so stupid. I was thinking that he would be like a field goal kicker for a football team, but he has a fake leg, and somehow the prosthesis allows him to
All right.
kick,
So is it
kick with
like
supreme act. So it's like his leg is hollow. That was the hollow part, and then the victory is that he helped him win.
is it like the Rookie,
Kind of like,
but with the fake leg? All right.
But
Yo, didn't they do that? They probably did. Okay, so you ready for mine?
A fake leg field goal kick.
You ready for mine?
All right, let's go.
All right. Location
Hold on, yeah, I'm writing them down.
is Egypt.
Oh gosh, is it Gods of Egypt?
Actor is Gerard Butler.
Okay.
And the title of the movie is Supreme Lords.
Okay, Supreme Lords in Egypt with Gerard Butler. So you essentially took Gods of Egypt and you just changed the title of it.
What it reminds me of is those movies that kind of capitalize on more popular movies made by those small budget. I'm trying to think of those.
It's like when you go to Redbox and you try to buy a movie and it's like almost the same title.
Transformers. It's like cars that change.
Yeah, it's like Changelings or something. Yeah, and it's cars that are turning into robots.
I'm pretty sure that's what Gods of Egypt originally was.
But my question with Redbox, who's making those movies, right? Like, who is, like, someone is filmed and produced.
No, there's a production company that made a lot of money doing horror movies, and now they just do that.
Okay, well, I'm going to turn this on its head. You're not ready for where I'm
All
going
right,
here,
go
okay?
for it.
In Egypt, this is modern day, though.
Okay.
You weren't expecting that, okay?
Modern day Egypt.
Modern day Egypt. Gerard Butler is like a super New York, like Spicoli kind of guy, as New York as you can get.
Okay.
And he grew up working for a pizza company. His parents owned a pizza company his whole life, like a I don't know, just New York style pizza. He moves to Egypt because he loves to travel and everything like that. Finds
So
himself
he's not
in Egypt.
moving. He's traveling.
He travels.
Okay.
He travels to Egypt and decides he wants to put some roots down there. And you know what? Egypt doesn't really have a lot of New York style pizza. So Gerard Butler says, I'm going to start Egypt's first New York style pizza place called Supreme Lords. Boom.
That's actually really good.
Boom. Supreme
There.
Pizza, baby. Supreme Lords. And the whole movie, it's kind of like like a quirky rom-com where he meets this like Egyptian girl and they fall in love. And, there's a lot of scenes of them like kneading dough, like doing this thing right here and throwing it up in the air. And he has to ride a little motorcycle, and maybe like he delivers it to. Do they have a pharaoh still? Who rules Egypt right now?
I think they have a president.
Okay, whatever. But anyways, maybe he ends up like on a high stakes chase or something. And
Well, I mean, wouldn't you think he would have a problem because they can't really eat lots of meats and porks in Egypt?
well, I mean, it's very supreme.
Is that the struggle?
Yeah, that's the
No one's
struggle.
buying his supreme meat.
Yeah, he has
pizza.
to throw away all of his original family recipes and come up with a more Egypt-friendly menu.
There you go.
Hold on. I'm just having this thought's unfolding as we go. He's such a good delivery boy because they always had the 30 minutes or less, guarantee that he gets involved in some kind of like crime ring and he becomes like the getaway driver. But he knows the streets so well because he's been spending his life delivering pizzas to all the houses. I don't know. I'm going to stick with one of those two options. Supreme Lords with Gerard Butler making pizza for all the Egyptians. All right. Next one.
Go for me. I got one for you next, though.
Okay, you're going to kill me next time?
It's going to be great.
Okay, this one. Title, Overdraft.
Okay.
Starring Olivia Munn, of course, right? She needs a new vehicle to be, to star in. Location, New York. So we got Overdraft with Olivia Munn happening in the city of New York. I feel like the options are really almost limitless for where you could go with this, Dick. So I'm excited to see what you
so Olivia Munn is the 20-something airhead, and she overdrafts on her bank.
Fitting.
And then she dies alone in the streets of New York.
So it's really just a straight tragedy.
Yeah, straight. She becomes a heroin addict.
Oh, man.
Hits it hard.
Is this like an Academy Award kind of role?
Tries to play the street smarts. And it's all because she overdrafted. So the whole plot of the movie is banks bankrupt people's lives.
Oh, so it's like a political commentary on banks. Is it one of those things where she overdrafted and they charged her like the extra $38 fee?
And then like the domino effect happens from the overdraft where she starts just her life goes downhill, and we'll show it.
Oh, dude, this needs to be shot like Memento style. We need to get Christopher Nolan involved in this, where the first scene is her like dying on the side of the road, and then it slowly backs up until you see her like as this pretty like preppy girl,
What we do though is we approach the other banks who don't charge, and the whole underlying theme is you should have gone to Chase Bank because they don't do overdraft.
So we can get some huge money. We can get Chase Bank to back us.
Like the opening dialogue is like her having problems with her Bank of America account, and then one of her friends like, "Why don't you just go to Chase? They don't have like half of those issues." And like my favorite thing is they don't overdraft, and that's kind of like subtly thrown in there.
Stupid little lie. The greatest part of Chase Bank is they don't charge overdrafts.
I mean, duh. Let's go to the Dropbox app and check it out.
And then at her funeral, they'll be like, if only she had been a part of Chase Bank, none of this would have happened.
Yeah.
I bet we could put the banks against each other in a bidding war.
The very end of the movie, the very end of the movie is the parents go to the apartment to collect all the mail because she's dead. And it's the acceptance letter about her bank account from Chase Bank. And like on the front thing is like now overdraft protected.
Oh,
and,
no.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh, so if only she lived a little longer.
And it's going to be subtle, though. It's not going to be so obvious on the camera. It's like, oh, what is this? Oh, it's her bank statement. And it's like, boom, boom, boom.
What'd be great is if the parents went to buy her casket and they swiped their debit card and it was like, decline. They don't have enough money to buy her funeral arrangements. This is really sad.
That's great.
You went a total. That's not where I expected.
There you go.
That's the brilliance of plot summary. Okay,
plot summary
that's the brilliance of plot summary.
All right, you're going to like my next one.
Okay.
All right, but then we got to go to break.
All
right, so it takes place in the ocean.
Okay.
It's going to have Haley Joel Osment as a kid.
Not fat, current Haley Joel Osment?
No, this is Sixth Sense, and the movie's called The Wank. Let's go to break. You're listening to Ticket Stub. When we come back, Connor's gonna give us the movie about the ocean that has Haley Joel Osment as a kid. It's gonna be titled The Wank. So stay tuned. You're listening to Ticket Stub, and we'll also talk about how to give away those tickets. So please hold on.
Our talk shows and music shows are looking for sponsors. Want to expand your brand awareness? Reach the hyper-local audience in Montgomery County? Lone Star Community Radio sponsorships accomplish this. Want to see our stats and rates? Check out irlonestar.com/sponsor for more information. Or call in and leave us a message at 936-647-3776 with your question. Get seen on TV or YouTube and heard on our podcast, FM, and internet radio. Sponsor your local radio station with Lone Star Community Radio.
Shall we begin?
Welcome back, everybody, to The Wank. Oh, sorry. I mean to the Ticket Stub. Connor and Dick here.
All right, the Wank segment. Love it.
We're finishing up our game.
We get our stubbies to listen to the Wank segment.
Yeah, gosh, I gotta quit doing this. I gotta quit doing this show. I'm gonna get fired. The Wank. Okay, so Dick. So we're playing plot summary where you give a title, an actor, and a location. Dick gave me remind everybody what you gave me.
All right, so I did it. The movie takes place in the ocean.
Okay.
Any ocean, it could just be the ocean.
Okay.
The main actor is going to be Haley Joel Osment from
Childhood.
From Childhood, and then the movie's called The Wink.
Okay. Well, I had to take this in a different direction than where I'm sure Dick was at when he was coming up with it. But Haley Joel Osment's really stretching his acting chops here. He is a young British boy.
Okay.
Okay. He finds his way to America and gets on one of those Alaskan crab fisher boats.
Okay. So he's a stowaway.
So he's a stowaway. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think I don't know why he ended up on the boat. I haven't fleshed that part of the plot out yet. But he's a British person, and so you know how British people use that term, like you're a wanker all the time, right? Okay, so that's like his thing. Like he's calling all these guys, all these crab fishermen, he's calling them he's calling them all these bad names, and he's a jerk, and these guys are getting tired of him being there. And so in the end, they end up in this really bad storm, and the guys are all like real superstitious. All the crab fisher guys, real superstitious kind of people. So they start to think, you know what? We've never hit storms like this before. We've never had problems like this before. We kind of hate this kid anyways. He must be a bad omen. We're gonna throw the wank off the boat. All right.
So they call him the wank.
They start calling him the wank. They finally throw him overboard, and the final scenes are Haley Joel Osment in the dark storm in like the Bering Strait up in Alaska as the waves are crashing overhead and the boat goes away. And they say,
so they kill a kid.
I guess, yeah. I guess they do. Maybe he gets found later on in the sequel, The Wank 2. The Wankening.
All right. We got about 5 minutes left in this show. That was the plot summary game. Again, if you want to win the 2 tickets for this week, listen to the show and listen to the elements we gave you for each plot, and then write the best one you can think of.
Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll post on the Facebook with all of the scenarios.
Okay.
And so then you can comment comment which one you're picking and write your best plot summary out. And the one that we like the most, we'll give 2 tickets away next week on the show. And so we'll start doing stuff like this every week, ways to give tickets away, ways to engage y'all. Hopefully y'all can come up with some better ones than we did if you have a little more time to think. But that went better than I thought it might, Dick. We had a couple of good ones.
Because you got me.
It's because we got the talent, baby. We got the talent. All right, we got our Summer Blockbuster contest. We want to make sure, Dick, I kind of had a nostalgic moment getting ready for this. Like, it's kind of winding down.
I know. I'm excited because it's over. It's been over since Guardians of the Galaxy, so.
It has been. Yeah. I mean, it kind of ruined it from the very start. But we have probably a few weeks left. We need to set a hard end date for this.
I think didn't we say September?
1st of September we'll stop? Okay. So we've got...
The school doesn't officially start for another 3 weeks or 2 weeks now.
Yeah, something like that. And so we've got a few weeks left of Summer Blockbuster. In the heavyweight division, Guardians of the Galaxy is on like its 34th week of being the champion. There really wasn't a big heavyweight movie that came out this last week. I looked at the budgets, and none of them really got into that heavyweight category. So it's just going to...
Well, The Dark Tower.
Well, but that's coming out this next week. I'm talking about the
Sorry.
week that passed. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, let me do my business over here, okay? This coming week, The Dark Tower is going to take a chance. I mean, if you were to give like a percentage chance that The Dark Tower beat Guardians of the Galaxy, well, I mean, 0%, maybe 1%, just because.
No, 0. I'll put money. I'll bet all on black.
All in. We'll go all in on 0%. The Dark Tower wins. And lightweight
doesn't win.
Lightweight, the Girls Trip won last week.
Yeah.
Took the crown. So Girls Trip, surprise movie. I was actually, when I went to the IMAX to see Dunkirk, it was the same day Girls Trip came out.
Okay.
And there was about 8,000 women of a particular variety that were all like lined up and at the restaurant, all to see Girls Trip. In fact, they had shirts that said like New Orleans Girls Trip. Like they came from New Orleans, I guess, to watch this movie. I don't know why they did that. But anyways, weird. Yeah, real weird. Girls Trip, 31.2 million, took the lightweight. This coming week, or it was going against Emoji Movie and Atomic Blonde. Emoji did 24.5 million.
Boom.
So congrats, Emoji. Dick, that $10 of that's yours. And then Atomic Blonde did 18.3 million. Also nothing special. Next week, there's a movie coming out called Kidnap. Don't really know much about it, but it's...
Well, Detroit's coming out, too.
Is that coming out this week?
That's coming out this week. That's going to be a... I think it's going to be kind of not money-wise. I don't think it's going to make a lot of money, but it's going to be a surprise movie. Catherine Bigelow directed it, and she did The Hurt Locker and Point Break, the original Point Break. That's how I know of her.
Yeah.
So she's always been on my radar ever since the original Point Break.
Yeah, you're right, Detroit. See, they had it under the expanding, not the new in theaters.
Yeah.
I guess it was real limited release, and now it's expanding out. But I'm excited about Detroit. That'll be interesting to see. Like you said, no way it's going to make a whole lot of money. But we'll see if that or Kidnap can do much to overthrow Girls Trip. or if Girls Trip is going to be the champion come end of summer. So
yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard. I mean, the lighter weight might change, but really, there's not really big movies coming out. It's all over.
I mean, it's surprising that that nothing even really got that close to challenging Guardians. I mean, it was there from the beginning, and it pretty much.
I honestly thought Fast was going to be the number one. That was when I was going to put my money on. But
I thought I was surprised with how much Guardians did and how well it was able to last through the whole summertime. So we want to remind you guys about the grand ticket giveaway. Go to our Facebook page, like our Facebook page, subscribe to our podcast, and you have a chance. Comment on the thing we're going to post here in just a minute. After the show's over, you'll have a chance to win the 2 free tickets.
You can always win 2 free tickets every week.
Every week from now on.
What we're going to try to do, just to kind of go over it all again, for this week, go to Facebook, see what the rules are. But we have an overall month ticket win. And how to win those is go watch The Kings of Egypt. Gods of Egypt. And it's not Supreme Lords. It's not Supreme Lords. No, go watch Gods of Egypt and write a nice little review for us. And we'll read it. The winner will be read on the air, and we'll get credit, and you'll get 2 tickets to the Grand. That's here in Conroe.
Also, one other thing we want to tell you about next week, we had our friend Nick Howard on the show about a month or so ago now.
You mean the Pyro?
The Pyro, baby. Yeah, he blows stuff up and burns things down, flips cars. We had a great interview with Nick. It was on the radio show, and then we did a podcast-only extension. If you didn't hear those, you need to go listen to those because it's really interesting. Nick works in the film industry. We're going to try to get him to call in this next week and do a Tales from the Set. We want to start doing that segment once a month or so where Nick gets to come on and tell us some crazy stories from just the life of working on set, because to me, that's super interesting. Like, I love movies, but to get the behind-the-scenes stuff of how does it all get made and what all goes into it and how crazy is Nicolas Cage in person and all those kind of things that Nick has great insight for. So we're going to get to hear all that hopefully next week when Nick gets to call in.
That's cool. Well, Connor, man, I'm glad you're back.
Good to be back.
Yeah.
Hopefully I don't miss for a while.
Yeah. And if you're just now tuning in, this is the Ticket Stub podcast. We're live here every Thursday at noon o'clock. And make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, and our podcasts are all on iTunes and Google Play. And that means, a.k.a. Austin, you need to start that music right now.
Shall we begin?
There you go. Thanks, Austin.
Thanks, buddy.
But yeah, movies. We're looking forward to seeing good movies. Let us know how we're doing. Let me know if you've seen a bad movie. I love bad movies. And Emoji Movie was not a bad movie. That was just a plague that no one can enjoy. There was nothing. I mean, I can't. Connor,
Dick,
we'll check you later, man.
All right, later, man.
Hey, Stubbies. Dick here.
Connor here.
And we're here to interrupt the show to let you know that we still have those tickets to give away to the Grand every week.
If you haven't heard yet, you haven't been listening close.
Yeah.
Every week, 2 tickets to the Grand. And we want to let you know about the month of August. At the end of August, there's going to be 2 tickets to be given away for a special reason.
And that reason is The Gods of Egypt, one of the best movies of 2016.
You need to watch Gods of Egypt between now and August 31st. You need to go to our Facebook page, hit like, and then comment a review for Gods of Egypt.
Yeah.
Best review wins.
And the best review will also be read aloud by me and Connor. And maybe if you're around the area, you can come in and win those tickets and be on the air with us. Maybe, if you're nice. But please like us on Facebook, and don't forget to keep subscribing and following us on the Ticket Stub.
Thanks for listening to The Ticket Stub. Be sure to check us out on Facebook at The Ticket Stub Podcast, our YouTube channel, The Ticket Stub, or send us listener email to theticketstubpodcast@gmail.com. We also have all of our podcasts available on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. If you're in the Conroe area, be sure to tune in live every Thursday at 104.5 and 106.1 FM to hear it as it happens and interact live with the show. See you next time.
Thanks for checking out this podcast of Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's community radio station. If you enjoyed this recording, make sure to check out our past shows online at irlonestar.com or their respective video or podcast formats on YouTube, Google Play, or iTunes. If you have any questions regarding the show, either it being about sponsorships or questions for the host, contact the station manager at dick@irlonestar.com or call the station at 936-647-3776. This show was recorded in downtown Conroe, Texas at the Lone Star Community Radio Studios, and Lone Star Community Radio reserves all rights to this recording and images.